Occupy Oakland, brilliant TV coverage by Fox News Channel on this. Bill O'Reilly's on the case, and he's going to break it down for us and tell us what the real issues apparently are at Occupy Oakland. Let's watch.
Well, last night in Oakland, California, some Occupy Wall Street protesters tried to defy police orders and march on City Hall. At least 5 protesters were arrested, several injured, along with 2 police officers who were also hurt. Police estimate nearly 1,000 demonstrators took part in the clash last night. And in addition, more anti-Semitism is surfacing among the occupiers.
Oh, of course. Yeah, of course. This is all about anti-Semitism. Remember the last time they made this charge, Rush Limbaugh said, well, they must be against the Jews because all the bankers are Jews. Gee, I wonder who the anti-Semites are. And we showed you over 700 people attending Yom Kippur celebrations at Occupy Wall Street. So those charges are nonsense, but they're going to go back to try to smear people anyway. And did you notice the beginning where he's like, they defied police orders? Obviously, they had to be crushed. How dare you defy police orders? I remember the last time this happened. It was when those black folks decided that they were not going to be second-class citizens anymore. And they kept defying the police orders in places like Selma, Alabama. So we had to sick the dogs on it. But Bill's got more brilliance.
The problem is that many Americans simply don't understand what's at stake here. The Occupy Wall Street movement is basically socialistic. It essentially wants the government to control who gets what. There's no question that capitalism isn't perfect or fair. Some people who get wealthy do so by exploiting workers. That's always happened. But the alternative is Cuba or Greece. Do Americans really want that? The primary goal of the occupiers is to demonize capitalism. Again, most Americans don't understand that, but it's true, and it's right before our eyes.
I love the either or. Well, look, capitalism has got a couple of problems. I mean, you exploit the workers, but hey, that's life in the big city. What do you want? The alternative is Cuba. You want to be Cuba? Is that what you want to be? I'm surprised he didn't go with North Korea. Okay, no, those are not the only 2 alternatives. And some of the people in some of the Occupy movements throughout the country are against capitalism. Most of them are not going with that message. They're going with the much, much larger message of we just don't want the banks and the big corporations buying our government. We want to protect our democracy. Our only 2 choices aren't we bow our heads and go, of course, Bank of America and Goldman Sachs, please, welcome to the American Treasury, just take all you want, or we're Cuba. No, there are other options. For example, Bank of America, you want to exploit your workers, you want to try to make money. Hey, listen, we're not going to let you do some of that. For example, we're not going to let you use child labor. Is that okay or no? Otherwise, we're Cuba. Okay. And then the second thing is, could you not use our money while you're doing it? But of course, Bill O'Reilly doesn't want to talk about that because he loves those big bankers and his job is to protect them. All right. Now, you think that's bad? It's about to get worse. He's going to bring on Dick Morris to spread more complete and utter nonsense.
I think he and the Democratic Party are going to have to start distancing themselves, or they're going to get caught.
Yeah, I mean, if they're demonstrating in Oakland, and the Oakland police need to use tear gas, imagine what happens when they get to a city with a more robust police force like Chicago. I think that there's a very good chance that this will now devolve into violence, as the Tea Party never did. And I think it's going to demonize the left in a way the Tea Party never did to the right.
All right, 2 fun things there. One, apparently the Oakland cops are sissies. That memo didn't come to me. I didn't know that. But I like that random diss on them. Oh, wait till you see what they do to them in Chicago. I don't know, Dick, what do you got planned? The second part of that is he says, oh, you see, Tea Party never devolved into violence. Yeah, that's because the Tea Party was never attacked by 500 cops. I mean, those guys were in a park. The Tea Party has been in parks before. Did they ever get rubber bullets and beanbags and tear gas fired at them? So, like, you see that? These guys are a lot more violent. They just made us attack them like this, was the Tea Party never did. By the way, you remember some of those events that some folks came to? I remember a guy in New Hampshire showed up outside an Obama event carrying firearms, okay? And say, hey, it's my right. I can stand here with guns. Have any guns been reported at any occupiers? None, right? None. Tea Party shows up with guns and they're good law-abiding citizens who care about this country. Occupy Wall Street gets his ass kicked by the Oakland cops and they didn't get enough and they had it coming. But it gets worse. Dick Morris.
Why do 43% of those polled by CBS fail to understand what's happening here?
Well, first of all, it's only beginning to happen. This was the first instance of real violence in street demonstrations in the United States. The Occupy Wall Street crowd in Manhattan has been fairly pacific. And where it's only beginning to come out that they're anti-Semitic, that the Muslim groups are involved and stuff like that.
Oh, come on, that's awesome. That's awesome. Now the Muslims are involved. Didn't you know the Occupy Wall Street was all about Muslims taking over the country? Our vet that fought in did 2 tours in Iraq, Olson, apparently he's also somehow in cahoots with the Muslims trying to take over the country. How did this thing become Muslim? Well, I'll tell you how. Because they got to demonize it, right? So they're like, let's throw everything we got at it, right? Well, they're hippies, they're violent, they're this. They only understand violence. That's why we had to hit them with tear gas and then blame them for the violence. All that stuff, right? They're all the bad guys. And if they're going to be bad guys, well, they got to be Muslim. You know what's coming next? Mexicans. So next thing you know, they'll say, look, quote me now, or I should say, hear me now, quote me later. At some point, Fox News will say, there's a lot of illegal immigrants in those Occupy Wall Street movements. Wait for it, it's coming. I'm surprised they haven't called them gay yet. That's also coming.